Hello, hello, everyone. Justin Crumley back again with another edition of CuJo's Corner. This is the 17th installment of my podcast, and as you can see, we got a lot to talk about today. And before we get started, I want to kind of talk about some. I want to talk a little. I want to rap with you guys a little bit about this podcast. Now, don't worry. This isn't nothing. No breaking news or anything. Nothing big. Um, so lately, I've been kind of thinking about ways to kind of make this podcast a little more entertaining for you guys, a little better. Um, and There's two ways. I'm gonna try to do things a little differently, and it's gonna come in two different ways. One, I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion about everything. I'm not gonna try to be neutral. I'm not gonna try to be objective. I'm just gonna give you guys what I think. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree. Um, I just want you guys to get my honest opinion about something. I don't want to put something out there on the internet, on YouTube that, you know, look, I'm not, I'm gonna be ashamed of in like a year. I don't like it. You know, if you guys have seen any of my old takes, I've got some bad takes. I've had some bad videos, where I've made bad predictions. And by bad videos, I mean videos where I've made like really bad predictions as far as sports. So I'm not gonna do the expert analysis thing, whatever. I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan, and that's how I'm gonna speak. Um, the other way, the second thing, I've been trying to think of ways to make this podcast a little more, like, substantively more entertaining. Substantively, whatever. More entertaining for you guys. So, I was talking to a coworker of mine, and I floated this idea where I said, what if I did a segment where I told, like, a really embarrassing story from my life? And yeah, yeah, she thought that was pretty funny. And I'm like, all right, fine. Whatever. I'm totally up to humiliate myself. I don't really care. Honestly, I just want to make this podcast a little more entertaining for you guys, and maybe if you guys get to know me a little bit, you get to see my personality a little, and who knows? Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you won't. We'll never. I guess we'll find out. So anyway, guys. With all that said, I know I've delayed this really long. I'm really sorry. Let's get started with today's podcast. So, it's that time of year again. Time for Jim Harbaugh to insert NFL team here rumors to start spreading. Now, this one, the latest team in this time is the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, we've heard this many times. We hear this every year. It just seems to be a thing for a lot of teams. These are just all alleged. Like most of the time, it's all alleged. It's no secret. Jim Harbaugh has probably been interested. It's no secret. Harbaugh is probably interested in going to the NFL. And although we hear this so many times, it's easy to kind of roll your eyes and say, like, oh, this is just another more rumors, blah blah. But this one's got some legs. Now, I'm not totally clear on everything. I think Harbaugh's got like some kind of connection to the Davis family. But consider the circumstances. Jim Harbaugh took a huge, huge pay cut to stay at Michigan. He's the 11th highest paid coach in the Big Ten. He's like, I don't even know where he is nationally. It's not good. Put aside what you personally think of Harbaugh, and yeah, I know, I said he deserved to take that pay cut. He hasn't done his job. You guys know my opinion on it. But listen, think about it from Harbaugh's perspective. If the Vegas Raiders are going to pay him a lot more, he can say whatever he wants about, oh, I don't care about the money, I'll coach at Michigan for free. That ain't going to happen. You know, like it or not, guys, it's not going to happen. He's going to go to Las Vegas. The money's there. So if Ward Manuel wants to keep Harbaugh, he's got to extend him. That's just all, that's a fact. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I first heard this on 97.1, and even the guy I was listening to, Mike Valenti, said that he didn't believe it at first. But I think it started to gain more steam. The story was picked up by ESPN. It's been reported by, I think it was like Bruce Feldman, I think his name was. I might be getting that wrong. I don't know. I'm really bad with names, and I'm like a moron. I didn't put it down in my notes. So, yeah, feel free to rip me in the comment section for that one. So, but here's the fact of the matter. If this is true, Vegas is going to open up the checkbook to get Jim Harbaugh, then rather Ward Manuel or us Michigan fans, like it or not, they might have a decision to make here. Now, that brings me to my personal opinion. What do I think? Guys, I personally don't care what Harbaugh does. I know, I'm a Michigan fan. I feel like I should fall on one side or the other, but I really don't. Look, I'll give it to you like this. I'll give you both sides. Let's say Harbaugh stays. Well, he just came off of Michigan's best season in years. I know it didn't end the way we were all hoping, but a playoff appearance, a Big Ten title, he's got some momentum here. Maybe he can build on it. I don't know if he will. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I believe he will, but we'll see. He definitely proved me wrong, and I'm open to seeing where he'll go from here. But it doesn't mean I'm going to throw all my weight behind him or my support. So, bottom line is, if he stays, I'm okay. He had a great season. He proved me wrong. And, despite what I think of him, he might prove me wrong more. Who knows? Let's say he takes the job in Vegas. Guys, Michigan will be fine. They're a big enough brand. They can go out and find a new coach. You know what? Maybe they could use the facelift. Maybe they could use a new identity. Someone that, they're going to give NIL to, they're going to allow to give NIL to, or however that works. A guy that's going to ruthlessly hit the transfer portal. I don't know why I said partle. Transfer portal. And before anyone tries to comment about that center we just got, he's a grad transfer. It's not the same thing. Guys, you know my opinion on this. I think Michigan has needed to change for a long time, and I still think they do. I think they need to start flashing some money a bit, getting some players on NIL deals. They need to hit that transfer portal. They need to get aggressive. World's changing, boys. Time we change too, but I'll get into that in just a minute. I almost got carried away. So, look, the point is, Michigan would be fine. And in my opinion, a new coach would be probably for the better. But nonetheless, it works both ways. And look, no hard feelings to Harbaugh, I don't think. The guy gave us a Big Ten title. Yeah, it took him 6 years. You know what? You guys should be happy that he might go to the NFL, if anything. So, look, if he takes a job in Vegas, fine. If he doesn't, great. That's where I'm at. Let me know where you guys are at on this. Michigan fans out there, what side? Do you fall on one side or the other? Or are you like me? Do you just not care? Whatever you think, throw it down below. Now, let's segue into the next thing. Now, I talked about this a little bit already, but there was a reason I brought up Michigan needing to jump on the transfer portal, needing to start getting players on some NIL deals. And it's this. So a story broke earlier. Eastern Michigan is offering Caleb Williams $1 million in NIL to go play at EMU. Now, I don't really think I don't think he's going to take it. Obviously, he's not going to take it. Eastern Michigan is not a big enough school. I think a bigger school is going to come out and try to get him. Caleb Williams is a talented quarterback, and I think a lot of schools are gonna pony up some cash. But think about it like this, guys. Think about the move that Eastern Michigan just did here. They're offering this guy $1 million to go play quarterback for them. Even if they know, low-key, that he's not going to take it, they're basically signaling like, hey, we're trying to change for the better. We're trying to make our football program better. We're willing to to dish out money to do it. So, my point is, back to Michigan. My point is, Michigan should be doing this. Whether it's Ward Manuel, and look, I got to believe Jim Harbaugh has wanted to go into the transfer portal. From what I gather, he was one of the advocates for the transfer portal. So, yeah, I don't know who it is for that one, the transfer portal, but they need to get on that. And as far as the NIL, I'm pretty sure that falls on both Jim and Ward. I don't know. Again, I don't know the specifics, but they got to get on that. Michigan, guys, look, listen. Times have changed. Different times. Desperate times. And desperate times call for desperate measures. Michigan needs to change. And it's like I said, world's changing, boys. Time we change too. And you know what? Whether that's with Jim Harbaugh or not, they need to jump on and start getting some students on some NIL deals. They need to jump on that transfer portal and start getting some players in. If they want to compete, if they want to close that gap with Ohio State and keep it closed, they want to start pounding Ohio State consistently. If they want to start pounding Ohio State consistently, I mean, seriously, they need to start getting more aggressive. Things need to change around here. And it starts with Michigan. Start getting some students on NIL and start getting players through the transfer portal. They have the money. They have the resources. They will be fine. They can recruit. They're a heavy football brand. They are not going to have trouble getting players. I refuse to believe that. You know what? It's not true. So it's not just, it's just not true. Look, I don't mean to get mad or heated. It just gets on my nerves when I see Michigan fans that are complicit. Now, I know I said, I'm happy just to make the playoffs. That was for this year. They got that taste. Now it's time to move the goalpost a little bit. It's like I said, world's changing. Time we change too. Whether it's with Harbaugh or not. NIL, transfer portal. Michigan, hit it. Hit them both. Just stop with the traditions and evolve. Just, yeah. So, it's really all I had to say. It's all I had to say about Michigan football. As always, about Michigan football, you guys can let me know your comments down below. And with all that said, we are going to move on to the pros. Oh boy. Oh my god, this one. So, I'm sure we all know about the Antonio Brown incident by now. The him having a meltdown on the sideline, throwing his jersey, taking his shirt off, and just leaving the game. Just yeah, at this point, it's very typical of Antonio Brown to do things like this, but things have gotten so ridiculous between him and the Buccaneers since I don't even know where to begin. So, to start, it all started with Bruce Arians basically saying, oh, he's not a Buck anymore, he's not a Buck anymore. And everybody's like, oh, he's going to get released, he's released, he's released. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I almost came on and did a video about it on that segment alone. But I decided to just kind of let it play out. And I'm glad I did because holy hell has it just devolved into a shit show. Like I said, started with Arians saying that he's done, he's no longer a Buck, but suspiciously he wasn't being released. Now, I saw some people saying like that they were just holding on to him because they were afraid somebody else was going to sign him, but he's claiming to have an ankle injury that's going to need surgery. I don't think anyone's going to sign him because if he's telling the like, I'll get to that in a second. I'll save that. Let me finish the little timeline of drama. Well, then it came out through Antonio Brown's lawyer that the Buccaneers tried to force him to play through said ankle injury that requires surgery. Arians denies knowing about Brown's ankle injury. Brown, shared the messages allegedly on, well, he did on Instagram. I don't know if they're, if they're real or fake. Whatever. I'm giving you guys the timeline as I'm seeing it unfold. And then Antonio Brown comes out, makes huge allegations against Bruce Arians, saying that he basically yelled at him, trying to force him to go in, even though he kept telling him, "Coach, my ankle hurts, my ankle hurts." And then he says Bruce Arians told him to leave, and he did. And he did. We all saw it. We've all seen the fucking video. Oh my God, what a... and now, Antonio Brown's also going after Tom Brady and Brady's athletic trainer, Alex Guerrero, over some, he says he paid Alex Guerrero, never received the training. It was like $100,000. I don't know if that's true. Like, this is just all falling into typical Antonio Brown behavior. And I know just by saying that, I'm going to get a lot of people against me. But to be honest, guys, that's not me saying that I'm on the Buccaneers side. I'm not. I'm not on any side here. I don't know what the hell's going on. All I know is Antonio Brown pretty much has just sunk his NFL career. You know what? There's no pretty much about it. I don't think any team wants him anymore at this point. Guy's too much of a head case. And if we're being honest here, he's had too many chances at this point. Much as I love Tom Brady, I gotta fault him for this, man. I think he's given this guy way too many chances. And look, as far as Antonio Brown is himself is considered, listen, I don't have anything against the guy. If there's something wrong with him, I hope he gets help. But listen, I can acknowledge that he might have CTE. I'm not a licensed doctor. I don't know. I can't, I can't diagnose this. I'm not going to claim to. But I do know this: his behavior is just absolutely ridiculous. I could believe he's mentally ill. You know what else I could believe? I could believe he's also an asshole. These things are not mutually exclusive. Dude's an asshole. Look at his history. Look at everything the guy's done. And again, don't get it twisted. This is not me pledging any kind of defense for the Buccaneers. This is just me saying Antonio Brown's NFL career, it's done. It's done. I'm not even going to float the question. I don't think any team is going to want to deal with this. In fact, I say it with confidence. No team is going to want to deal with this. None. I don't care how desperate a team is at wide receiver. This guy's too much of a head case. He's too much. He's just too much. So, the final point I'll make on this is both the Buccaneers and AB, they kind of look shady in the whole thing. It's a really confusing shit show. And if you want more details on it, you guys can look for it, look through it more. I know I kind of gave you a bit of a Clip Notes version of it, but we'll see how this all plays out. But yeah, like I said, as far as Antonio Brown's NFL career goes, it's done. It's done. There is no other team out there that is going to want to deal with this. There's no other team out there. No. It's done. And for what it's worth, I don't see him playing in the USFL either. I think his football career is done. It really is. Nice knowing you, AB. I guess. Let's move on to something more positive. So my New England Patriots, they made the playoffs. They blew the brakes off of the Jacksonville Jaguars 50-3. They're now 10-6. Still second place in the AFC East, but yeah, it is what it is. They got 10 wins now. That was about what I was hoping they would get. Originally, I started at about 8, but when they went on a hot streak, I kind of felt like moving the goalpost a little bit. So, okay, you got 6 wins, 7 wins, a little too fast there. Let's move that goalpost a little bit. Give me 10 wins now. So, they got 10 wins. They're in the playoffs. They win the AFC East. That's just a cherry on top of the Sunday, although I don't see it happening with the Bills playing the Jets on Sunday, but we'll see. Anyway. They made the playoffs. That's all that's important. I couldn't be happier with this team. I really couldn't, guys. Like I said, originally I was hoping for about 8 wins. And, in the offseason, I wasn't quite sure where they were going to go. Wasn't sure where the season was going to go, how it was going to play out, any of that. So, I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know how many videos I made on the offseason, if I made any at all on the Patriots. Like I said, off the top of my head. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I kind of, I didn't even know who their quarterback was going to be, there was a lot of reports coming out that, Cam Newton is unvaccinated and he ended up getting COVID and he was out for a week, and Mac Jones, absolutely tore it up during that week. And, we heard some reports coming out that Mac Jones was teaching Cam Newton the playbook. Now, I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to speculate on if it is or not. But I do know this. I didn't know where this team was going to be. So, when they cut Cam and they went with Mac, it kind of just put me in an even more confusing spot because, again, I didn't know quite where to put my expectations. I eventually settled on 8 wins. It was, but, again, I was like, it's one more win than last year. If they could get to the playoffs, that'd be great. But it's a rookie quarterback, a rookie quarterback that, mind you, I didn't have a lot of high expectations for. But hey, I was wrong. So the Pats, doing what they did. This is all kind of like a pipe dream to me because I could not have predicted this. What I'm trying to say is, even if they end up going one and done, I just hope they have a good showing in their playoff game. Like, don't go in there and get the brakes blown off you like Michigan did against Georgia. Go out there and actually look competitive. Show up and play. Even if you end up losing, if you lose by like a last second touchdown, because the defense couldn't stop the offense, or if they, if it's something, if it's like a small mistake, or, if they end up losing by like 3 or whatever, if they're competitive, is what I'm saying. If they're competitive, I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy. And right now, guys, I could not be happier with this team. They're 10-6 right now. They're going to Miami to close out the season. It's not a place they've been able to win a lot, at least under Tom Brady. But we'll see how Mac Jones plays out. Not going to make any predictions on the game. I'm just going to wait till Sunday and watch and see how it plays out. And then we'll talk about their playoff game on the next podcast. So, with all that said, Pats fans, before I move on to the next topic, I want to ask every Pats fan out there, where's your happiness level with this team? Like, are you like me? Could you not be happier with them? Are you ecstatic with the season that they've put out? Or, do you want to see more? Do you want to see them, like, do you want to keep moving that goalpost a little bit? I'm not, whatever the case, throw it in the comment section below, guys. I, legitimately just want to talk sports with you guys. That's it. Let's do it. Moving on to the next topic. So the Washington football team announces that they will reveal their new name on February 2nd. Now we know for sure that both Wolves and Red Wolves are both off the table. Those were apparently a couple of fan favorites, myself included. I would have liked Red Wolves. I've also heard like Red Tails as a possible name, which would be pretty cool. I won't lie, but we'll see. I've also heard Admirals is a possible one. Who knows? I doubt it'll be the Generals. And I don't see it being the Americans or anything like that. I don't know. Who knows? To be honest, I kind of hope it's Red Tails. besides a nice tribute to the Tuskegee Airmen, it would it would also be like a just a really cool, like a fucking badass name. They could draw like a really cool like hawk head and make it look badass, or they could like a plane with the red tail kind of thing. I don't know. It would be cool, either way. So there's a part of me that hopes that it is red tails, but we'll see on February 2nd. Nah, but with all that said, I want to ask you guys the question. What do you guys think, Washington? What do you think the name that they'll adopt will be? What do you think it's going to be? What do you think their new team name is going to be? Or yeah, I don't know why I didn't just ask you guys like what do you think their team name is going to be? uh, or do you think they're just going to keep the football team as their name? I personally hope they don't. I would like to see them get a brand, a mascot, just something cool, something to symbolize that team, like I don't know. But that's just me. I want to know your opinions. Alright, so told you guys that I wanted to introduce a new segment to the podcast, kind of make this a little more entertaining. So, I decided to add was a segment I like to call Embarrassing Story, where I basically tell you guys an embarrassing story about, like an embarrassing story at some point in my life. One that I'm comfortable sharing you guys. Whatever, just have end things on a positive note, have a good little laugh before we end things. I don't know how long this is gonna go on for. Probably till I run out of stories to tell you guys. Which could be, in that case, it'll be a long time. Also, I can't promise if any I'll try my best not to do any repeat stories from my my retail horror stories video. I'll re-listen to that podcast, kind of get a list, and that way I'm not repeating a story to you guys, because I don't want to make you guys listen to the same story twice. So anyway, with all that said, let's talk about. I'm gonna tell you guys about the time when I was in high school. This is going back, God, I think I was a junior in high school when this happened. Yeah, I think I was a junior, but I was in Spanish 2. Um, we had to do a project where we took a picture of our room or pictures, I think it was like multiple pictures of our room, and describe them, describe items in Spanish. Rather, they were posters on the wall, items on on any desks. Basically, give information to the class about your life. Well, I remember doing like a prelude, and I had a poster of Tori Wilson on my wall, and a lot of classmates of mine um, were talking about that. So when doing the final project, I decided to talk about that, to mention that. So what ended up happening was I don't remember if this was during baseball season or not, but somehow I ended up staying up until like 1 in the morning trying to finish this damn poster. I was incredibly exhausted. I really wasn't thinking straight, and there's a reason I'm telling you guys this, and I'll get to that part. But Um, it's 1 a.m. I'm tired as all hell. I'm scrounging to finish this project. Get to bed. Get up in the morning. Do my presentation. Whatever. I decided to bring attention to the Tori Wilson poster. So I wrote out a sentence in Spanish. I'm not going to attempt to try to speak Spanish. I'm not even going to attempt to say the words. But basically, I was going to try to say, I was like a 17-year-old kid. I was going to say something like, I like girls. Like, ladies, hit me up kind of thing. Like I was kind of that, cocky 17-year-old thing, even though that wasn't me. It would have been a total, like, fake it till you make it kind of thing, but nonetheless. And now this kind of sounds like the setup to a really funny joke in a sitcom. Now you guys know why I'm sharing this on the podcast as an embarrassing story, but anyway, let's get to the good part. So the next day, I have to present the poster. Now, normally my presentation skills are pretty decent. Public speaking was never really an issue for me, and maybe a few speeches here and there I weren't too good at, but for the most part, it's really never been an issue for me. I've actually done well. I'm a very talkative guy. I'm sure you guys know that by now. um, I've never had a problem with like speaking my mind. However, um, and to be fair, I wasn't going to. It wasn't so much my presentation that was funny. It was the huge mistake that I made, and somehow um didn't even notice until I said it out loud. Basically, I got to the part about the Tori Wilson poster, and instead of saying I like girls, I basically wrote out the I guess high school Spanish equivalent to I am a girl. And somebody in the class was quick to point that out as soon as I said it. And the whole class laughed, and you know what? Screw it. I laughed too. Because I honest to God didn't even notice that mistake. And I was like super embarrassed. Like I was like, that is not what I meant to say. Oh my God. That's not what I meant. That was totally not what I meant to say. But like, again, it was 1 a.m. I was tired as hell, and um, it was funny. I had a good laugh. I wasn't great at Spanish, but I loved my teacher, and um, it was a good time. It was good fun. I'm not, I actually just became friends with my old Spanish teacher on Facebook, so that's interesting. Which I'm not gonna say what her name is in case she wants to remain anonymous, but um, yeah. So that's the first embarrassing story that I'm gonna share with you guys. Next time, I will be sure to share another one with you. Could be one from high school, could be one from my adult life. Honest to God, those ones are probably funnier, the adult life ones. So, anyway, till next week, I will, let me know what you guys think of that first one. That was kind of a warm up. I'm gonna try to come back with some better ones. But anyway, guys, that is actually going to wrap up this edition of CuJo's Corner. Um, Thank you for coming to my little corner of the world. I don't know if that's going to become like an outro, but, whatever. I just felt like saying it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off now. Great talking to you. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And until next time, I'm Justin Crumley, and this is CuJo Productions, signing out.